All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and preface that I am not 100%, but it's going to be a great day. Good afternoon. Came back from a conference that is all about student conduct, college universities in Portland, and I am under the weather. But probably about 2 days into the conference, felt a little scratchy throat and some interesting other things progressing. But Lord willing, I'll be able to kick it in no time soon. So in case I do sound stuffy or I start coughing, that's all it is. But it's gonna be well. I am in a much better place than I was a couple of days ago. So I'm counting it all joy. But without further ado, I want to continue to share takeaways, things I've learned, things that resonated from reading through. Right now, we are in Numbers 21 with the goal to get through 25. So, without further ado, we're going to get into it. I hope everyone is well. And the first chapter today is Numbers 21, verses 2 and 3. What I wrote was, despite their inconsistency and ungratefulness, God still looked after and protected and vindicated them when they sought him. So Numbers 21, 2 and 3, I'm going to read for the context so y'all can understand. But it reads, chapter 21, 2 and 3. So Israel made a vow to the Lord and said, if you will indeed deliver this people into my hand, then I will utterly destroy their cities. And the Lord listened to the voice of Israel and delivered up the Canaanites, and they utterly destroyed them and their cities. So the name of that place was called Hormah. Now we know from previous chapters and books, Hebrew Israelites, God's chosen folks, hard-headed, easy to forget everything that God has done, even with God's presence being before them. But again, anytime they cried out, he heard them, he came through. Now, Numbers 21, verses 4 through 9, we're going to see the people still being them, and God being God. So we see that God doesn't play, and he is merciful. He's our Redeemer, all in the same breath. So Numbers chapter 21, 4 through 9 reads, then they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom, and the soul of the people became very discouraged on the way. Verse 5. And the people spoke against God and against Moses. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and our soul loathes this worthless bread. Being ungrateful, the worthless bread they are talking about is the manna that God continues to allow to be presented to them as sustenance. Verse 6. So the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and many of the people of Israel died. 7. Therefore the people came to Moses and said, we have sinned, for we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Pray to the Lord that he take away the serpents from us. So Moses prayed for the people. 8. Then the Lord said to Moses, make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live. 9. So Moses made a bronze serpent, put it on a pole, and so it was, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. And then 10 through 20, what I wrote far as the takeaway in Numbers chapter 21 was, I just love the clarity of where they journeyed. The names of the cities, the valleys, the seas, the brooks, is specificity. God took them back down memory lane a bit, and they sang a song of remembrance and gratitude in verses 16 through 18. So that section of Numbers 21 was just a recap of the places that they had journeyed along the way to entering into the promised land. Now, when I jump to, I want to say it's toward the end of 21, so verses 21 through 32. Another king, King Sihon, refuses to let Israel pass through his land and then tried to fight them, just to lose and have his territories taken anyways. So what we saw prior to, Moses has come in other people's territories and a couple times already has asked in a diplomatic way, hey, I know it's a lot of us. We will mind our business. Please let us go through the safest way through your territory because we are on our way somewhere. We won't eat your food. We won't drink your water. We got our own. Just let us pass through. And so far, folks are like, no, they're not letting them pass through. So they're going a roundabout way. Now they're in a place of another territory, King Sihon, and they ask, hey, can we pass through? But he says no. Then he gets emboldened and tries to overtake them. So when I'm going to read Numbers 21, I'm going to read verses 24 and 25, and then 31 and 32. So Numbers 21, 24, and 25. This is fast forwarding after Moses had spoke to King Sihon to allow them to pass through, and he said no. So Numbers 21, 24. Then Israel defeated him with the edge of the sword and took possession of his land from the Arnon to the Jabbok, as far as the people of Ammon, for the border of the people of Ammon was fortified. Verse 25. So Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites in Heshbon and in all its villages. So King Sihon said no. Then he tried to come up against Moses and the nation of Israel. They weren't having it. From what we understand, from the 12 sons of Jacob, each son represents a tribe, and they're fortified with warriors. They know how to fight, and they all have different roles in what it means to go to war. So King Sihon ended up losing his territory. He was the king of the Amorites, but God had already told them prior to, thank you, sweetheart. God had already told them prior to that they were going to overtake the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Hittites, all of them, to enter into the land in which he promised. My son gave me some carrots, so y'all, I'm about to be grateful and eat some carrots. So that was number 21, 24, 25. And now we're going to jump to Numbers 21, 31, and 32. And it's just solidifying what happened. 31. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. 32. Then Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took its villages and drove out the Amorites who were there. Taking over. All right, so something I wrote afterwards was God's people are warriors. And then in my DJ Khaled voice, because I can't help myself, I just said another one as I was reading verses 33 through 35. So, another king is defeated. Numbers 21, 33. And they turned and went up by the way of Bashan. So Og, king of Bashan, went out against them, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. 34. Then the Lord said to Moses, do not fear him, for I have delivered him into your hand, with all his people and his land, and you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt at Heshbon. So they defeated him, his sons, and all his people, until there was no survival left him, and they took possession of his land. War ain't pretty, but long story short, tried a diplomatic way to go through to get to the land of Canaan. Multiple kings said no, and it makes sense, intimidated by the strength and the numbers of the Israelites, right? But one king is like, shoot, it's probably going to be bad anyway, so let me try to fight, and loses, and then the losing streak continues because, again, God had already given his word that all of these territories will be yours. And on your way to the land of Canaan, the land flowing with milk and honey, the promised land, y'all will not be overtaken, right? You're going to get to where you need to go. And some people will say unfortunately, other people will say fortunately, it's through war. Somebody has to lose. So that was that for Numbers chapter 21. Now going into Numbers 22, I wrote read all of it, but what I'll do is read some of my notes, and then I will follow suit. And folks who want to follow along, y'all can follow along. But first note, Balak was king of the Moabites who sought Balaam for God's favor and protection. But God's favor was with the Israelites, not the Moabites. And then my second note was I was a little unsure why God was angry because he told Balaam to go in. So verse 20 will make sense when I get there. Then was angry when Balaam did go. In verse 22. And then 3, this is when the donkey talks. So I was like, oh, the donkey could see, but Balaam could not until the Lord opened his eyes. So those are my notes, and as I read it, it'll all make sense. So this is Numbers 22, verse 1. Then the children of Israel moved and camped in the plains of Moab on the side of the Jordan across from Jericho. 2. Now Balak, the son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. 3. And Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many. And Moab was sick with dread because of the children of Israel. 4. So Moab said to the elders of Midian, now this company will lick up everything around us, as an ox licks up the grass of the field. And Balak, the son of Zippor, was king of the Moabites at that time. 5. Then he sent messengers to Balaam, the son of Beor, at Pethor, which is near the river in the land of the sons of his people, to call him, saying, look, a people has come from Egypt. See, they cover the face of the earth and are settling next to me. 6. Therefore, please come at once. Curse this people for me, for they are too mighty for me. Perhaps I shall be able to defeat them and drive them out of the land, for I know that he whom you bless is blessed, and he whom you curse is cursed. 7. So the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with the diviner's fee in their hand, and they came to Balaam and spoke to him the words of Balak. 8. And he said to them, lodge here tonight, and I will bring back word to you as the Lord speaks to me. So the princes of Moab stayed with Balaam. 9. Then God came to Balaam and said, who are these men with you? 10. So Balaam said to God, Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent to me, saying, 11. Look, a people has come out of Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Come now, curse them for me. Perhaps I shall be able to overpower them and drive them out. 12. And God said to Balaam, you shall not go with them. You shall not curse the people, for they are blessed. 13. So Balaam rose in the morning and said to the princes of Balak, go back to your land, for the Lord has refused to give me permission to go with you. 14. And the princes of Moab rose and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to come with us. 15. Then Balak sent princes more numerous and more honorable than they. 16. And when they came to Balaam and said to him, thus says Balak, the son of Zippor, please let nothing hinder you from coming to me. 17. For I will certainly honor you greatly, and I will do whatever you say to me. Therefore, please come, curse this people for me. 18. Then Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, though Balak were to give me his house full of silver and gold, I could not go beyond the word of the Lord my God to do less or more. 19. Now therefore, please, you also stay here tonight, that I may know what more the Lord will say to me. 20. And God came to Balaam at night and said to him, if the men come to call you, rise and go with them, but only the word which I speak to you, that you shall do. 21. So Balaam rose in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. Balaam a real one. I love how he said, I don't care what all y'all trying to give me. If the Lord my God said I can't do it, guess what? I can't do it. But we see he entreats the Lord God, and God says, go ahead, go with him. But make sure you speak only what I say. All right. Numbers 22:22. Then God's anger was aroused because he went, and the angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. And he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants was with him. Now, this is where I was like, but God, you told him to go. So, like, why you mad? Because he going. Like, what happening? I don't know it all, right? Maybe it was God trying to see. You going to stand on 10, what I said? But, again, verse 20, God came to Balaam, told him, go ahead. And then verse 22, God was mad when Balaam decided to go with the Moabites. So we see anger aroused. Angel of the Lord took his stand in the way as an adversary against him. And he was riding on his donkey, and his two servants was with him. 23. Now the donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and the donkey turned aside out of the way and went into the field. So Balaam struck the donkey to turn her back onto the road. 24. Then the angel of the Lord stood in a narrow path between the vineyards with a wall on this side and a wall on that side. 25. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she pushed herself against the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall. So he struck her again. 26. Then the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where there was no way to turn, either to the right hand or to the left. 27. And when the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, she lay down under Balaam. So Balaam's anger was aroused, and he struck the donkey with his staff. 28. Then the Lord opened the mouth of the donkey, and she said to Balaam, what have I done to you that you have struck me these 3 times? 29. And Balaam said to the donkey, because you have abused me, I wish there were a sword in my hand, for now I would kill you. 30. So the donkey said to Balaam, am I not your donkey on which you have ridden ever since I became yours to this day? Was I ever disposed to do this to you? And he said, no. 31. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way with his drawn sword in his hand, and he bowed his head and fell flat on his face. 32. And the angel of the Lord said to him, why have you struck your donkey these 3 times? Behold, I have come out to stand against you, because your way is perverse before me. 33. The donkey saw me and turned aside from me these 3 times. If she had not turned aside from me, surely I would have also killed you by now and let her live. 34. And Balaam said to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I did not know you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displeases you, I will turn back. 35. Then the angel of the Lord said to Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I speak to you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. 36. Now when Balak heard that Balaam was coming, he went out to meet him at the city of Moab, which is on the border of at the Arnon, the boundary of the territory. 37. Then Balak said to Balaam, did I not earnestly send to you, calling for you? Why did you not come to me? Am I not able to honor you? 38. And Balaam said to Balak, look, I have come to you. Now, have I any power at all to say anything? The word that God puts in my mouth, that I must speak. 39. So Balaam went with Balak, and they came to Kirjath Huzoth. 40. Then Balak offered oxen and sheep, and he sent some to Balaam and to princes who were with him. 41. So it was the next day that Balak took Balaam and brought him up to the high places of Baal, that from there he might observe the extent of the people. So I read all of 22 for a reason. There's a story in it. It's a lot of stories that could be taken from what happened as well with Balaam and his donkey. But I read that, and the things that stood out when I kind of get to Numbers 23, 24, If you don't know by now, Balaam is a prophet of God. And in Numbers 23 and 24, there are two more prophecies that come forward through Balaam based on what the Lord God gives him. Now, the third one confirmed that God is only in the blessing business for the children of Israel. So Balak, the king of the Moabites, he's upset because he insists on trying to buy his way into the favor of God choosing Moabites over the Israelites. And we know that doesn't happen. The fourth prophecy, so the fourth one is how the other people shall meet their end of reigning when Israel comes in. It was a sad day for Balak, long story short, because everything that Balaam was told to say by the power of God was not pleasing to Balak, because he learned, no, I'm not going to curse the Israelites. They're blessed, but your reign is about to come up. And then the details of how your reign is about to end, he learned in those prophecies. Now, what I wrote here, like the recap of Numbers 23 and 24, it was chapter 24 specifically. The Spirit of God came upon Balaam when he prophesied in verse 3 of chapter 24. But yeah, definitely read chapter 23, 24 if you want to see the progression of the Lord using Balaam as his mouthpiece on the earth to speak what Balak needed to understand, regardless of how he felt. But he was angry, but it is what it is. But four prophecies came forward from chapters 23 to 24. And it didn't shift away from the Lord's people, the Israelites being blessed, and unfortunately Moabites and others' reign coming to an end. So there's that. Now, where I'm going to wrap up today is Numbers 25. And I'm going to read all of it. It's not as long as the others. And then I'll share some takeaways. But quick note, the Israelites cannot seem to help themselves. So we'll see that when I read it. And they seem to be very forgetful people. It just is what it is. For whatever reason, they forget. So they say things they shouldn't say. But we're going to read. We're going to read it. All right. So Numbers 25, verse 1. Now Israel remained in Asiyah Grove, and the people began to commit harlotry with the women of Moab. 2. They invited the people to the sacrifices of their gods, and the people ate and bowed down to their gods. 3. So Israel was joined to Baal of Peor, and the anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel. 4. Then the Lord said to Moses, take all the leaders of the people and hang the offenders before the Lord out in the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel. 5. So Moses said to the judges of Israel, every one of you kill his men who were joined to Baal of Peor. 6. And indeed, one of the children of Israel came and presented to his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. 7. Now when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. 8. And he went after the men of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her body. So the plague was stopped among the children of Israel. 9. And those who died in the plague were 24,000. Verse 10. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, 11. Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was zealous with my zeal among them, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my zeal. 12. Therefore say, behold, I give to him my covenant of peace. 13. And it shall be to him and his descendants after him a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God. and made atonement for the children of Israel. 14. Now the name of Israel of the Israelite who was killed with the Midianite woman was Zimri, the son of Salu, a leader of a father's house among the Simeonites. 15. And the name of the Midianite woman who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head of the people of a father's house in Midian. 16. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, 17. Harass the Midianites and attack them. 18. For they harassed you with their schemes, by which they seduced you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a leader of Midian, their sister, who was killed in the day of the plague because of Peor. So I'm going to stop there. But one thing that I think we're going to get to in the following chapter is like the second census. So I don't want to get too far ahead. But as we see, anytime there is blatant disobedience of God's people, he cannot stand it. So he literally cuts out anything he sees that is cancerous, that is bad, that is not holy or showing reverence to him. And that's essentially what happens. Like, they took over the land. They seem to have just killed the man in the land because the women are still present. And then the women are seducing and entreating some of the Israelites to serve other gods. And God already told them his commandments and that he's a jealous God and what would happen if they did it. So as you can see, plagues breaking loose, people are dying because of disobedience. And God is having to make like a grandiose statement of the leaders, like get rid of them, let them hang, so that folks remember, tremble and fear to not do what we will learn. They just continue to kind of hopscotch in and out of the nonsense. But that was Numbers 21 through 25. Appreciate y'all rocking with me. Please keep me lifted because I want to be 100% better. I'm sure y'all can see it in my face for those that know me. I am not at 100%, but I will be soon, Lord willing. But continue to make it a great day. Stay hydrated. Let me pull my little water up. Stay hydrated. And then as y'all have questions, comments, want to jump on, break bread offline, please continue to send me a text, call me, hit me up, girl. Anywho, don't do that. Until next time, y'all continue to make it a great Sunday.